Hey guys, Danielle McCarthy here. Welcome back to another week. In today's vlog, I'm going to be talking to you about values. Particularly, I'm going to be covering identifying what's important to you and why you want to do that and how you can actually live in accordance with your values. So last week I talked to you about stress, and the reason I did that video was because I was going through a stressful time personally, and it reminded me about the importance of putting some of my own advice into practice. This is actually kind of following on from that, because during that stressful period, another thing that became really apparent to me is the importance of continuing to connect with what's important to you and your values. So first of all, I want to explain the difference between goals and values, because it's very common and understandable that we might get the two confused. So values are actually how we want to live our life, okay? It's the direction we want to move in our life. Goals are the things we might tick off along the way in that direction, all right? It's kind of like our to-do list, like got married, tick, did that, okay? Values are really important, and it's really important that we identify what is important to us and how we want to live our lives. Because when we're living in accordance with our values and we're moving in that direction, we're going to feel more happy, more content, more fulfilled. It's also going to help us overcome the challenging times. In contrast, if we start to move away from our values and we aren't living in accordance with what's important to us, that's when we can start to experience a lack of fulfillment. We might even go on to experience depression and anxiety. And this is something I commonly see in the clinic. Often people, when they are experiencing a lack of fulfillment or depression or anxiety, it can be because they're not actually living in accordance with what's important to them. Step one is that you need to identify what is actually important to you. Think about the different areas of your life, whether it's career, home life, you as an individual, your own health and well-being. Have a think about those different areas and think, what's actually important to me? You know, do you really value health? Do you really value, certain things in your career, growth, learning, in your relationships? Do you really value connection, socializing? What is it that you value? Step two is to actually identify some specific behaviours that you can start to do that in accordance with these values, all right? So if you, for example, really value connection with other people, what are some behaviours that you can start to do that's in accordance with this value? Okay, it might be something that you used to do that you're no longer doing, or it might be just something that you've never given a go. So it might be that, okay, I want to touch base with a friend that I haven't caught up with for 2 months. So step one might be to actually send that person a text message and say, hey, it's been a long time, you want to catch up for a coffee? All right, so that's the specific behaviours that you can start to put in place. They're the goals, they're the things you can tick off once you've done them. Step three is to keep coming back to your values, okay? And that brings me back to why I'm doing this video in the first place, because through my stressful period a couple of weeks ago, before I did the last vlog, that's what came up for me, was like, okay, when I had this overwhelming sense of like, wow, I've got so much stuff to do, how am I going to get it done? What I did was come back to what's important to me, come back to my values, by reminding myself that family is one of my top values, and being present and being available for my children, reminded me, no, the solution to this problem is to not take time away from my children and put them into care or get them looked after. In actual fact, I need to just go back to my to-do list, make sure I've prioritised it the best as possible, and just slowly start working one by one and ticking things off. So that's what I did, okay? So they're the 3 tips that I want you guys to have a think about. Number one, identify your values, identify how you want to live your life. Step two is, once you've identified your values, what are some of the behaviours, whether they're new or old behaviours, that you can start engaging in that are in line with these values. And step three is know and be aware that you're going to have to keep coming back to these, okay? This is an ongoing thing, because you will so easily get presented with opportunities to go off course throughout your life, and you're going to have to constantly remind yourself, hang on, what's important, what's meaningful to me here, how do I want to live my life, and ensure you keep coming back to them over and over again. So that's it, guys. I hope you found today useful, talking about values and identifying what's important to you and how you want to go about living your life. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for future videos, but otherwise that's all for this week. Stay tuned. I'll see you all next week. Bye for now.